The committee will come to order. Secretary Mayorkas, welcome back. And thank you for your willingness to testify and your continued service to our nation. We appreciate that. I know that you and the Biden administration as a whole inherited a number of very serious challenges. And I've been impressed with what you've accomplished in a relatively short time. Your efforts to support the wide distribution of vaccines to every community so we can get through this pandemic, and your concrete actions to combat domestic terrorism, including white national violence, is appreciated. And while you help ensure communities across the country are safer and more secure, we know that it is a big job that requires your constant attention. And while doing all of that, your department has also grappled with the situation on our southern border, addressing the humanitarian challenges presented by the arrivals of unaccompanied children, while also working to keep our border secure. And that is the focus of today's hearing. And I look forward to hearing about some of your successes and the challenges that you continue to face, and the support and resources that your department needs to effectively carry out your mission while ensuring appropriate care of people who are in DHS custody. Although we saw higher than usual numbers of unaccompanied minors arriving at the border earlier this spring, these numbers appear to be decreasing. Even so, the significant numbers of migrants seeking asylum in the United States continues to present a very serious challenge. Our nation rightfully serves as a beacon for those who are fleeing persecution. We have an obligation to ensure that the migrants on our border, that our border security professionals encounter, are being treated with dignity and have appropriate food, care, and shelter. But we also must ensure that those efforts do not restrict the ability of border security personnel to continue their critical frontline mission to stop illicit drugs, contraband, and other illegal activity along our borders and help keep Americans safe. Mr. Secretary, many of the challenges that you inherited were made worse because of the actions of the previous administration. The Trump administration's decision to suspend long-standing legal protections afforded to minors and those fleeing persecution forced significant numbers of asylum seekers to wait in a very precarious condition in Mexico. As a result, when President Biden took office in January, there was already a significant population of vulnerable asylum seekers, especially minors, waiting to seek refuge in the United States from violence or persecution in their home countries. The ongoing pandemic has compounded challenges faced by both the Department of the Homeland Security and Health and Human Services as they work to house unaccompanied children. COVID-19 health protocols have limited the amount of space and staff available at state-licensed shelters. These factors resulted in more than 5,000 children at a time being held for days in the care of Border Patrol agents who are simply not trained in child care. These minors should have been transferred, ideally within hours, to Health and Human Service facilities where licensed child welfare professionals ensure they receive adequate care while waiting for release to sponsors in the United States. I've had the opportunity to visit the southern border twice so far this year to see both the border facilities and the shelters for unaccompanied children firsthand and speak directly with the folks on the ground who are working to address these challenges. During my most recent visit, I spoke with dedicated Border Patrol agents who were personally supplying toys and food to unaccompanied minors in their care at their own expense. They were going above and beyond their official responsibilities, and we all appreciate that effort. And I'm happy to see the DHS's recent efforts to help Health and Human Services identify additional shelter locations and expedite the safe transfer of these children, and it's beginning to show positive results. I'm encouraged to see a drastic reduction in the number of these vulnerable children in Border Patrol facilities and that they're staying for shorter periods of time. While the situation at our southern border continues to improve, thanks to the Biden administration's efforts, I will say, unfortunately, many challenges still persist, especially because of the population of migrants who are continuing to flee incredibly dangerous conditions in their home countries. This committee and Congress must work together to address the root causes of migration flows and ensure that the federal agencies in charge of responding to these challenges have the right resources and support. This is a big task, but it is not insurmountable. Secretary Mayorkas, I look forward to hearing from you and how Congress can work with the administration to secure our borders and ensure we have sufficient personnel, provide asylum seekers with appropriate care, and ensure asylum applicants are processed efficiently and fairly to help address these concerns.